All right, it is time to skol with the enemy, baby. All right, welcome back to the Onebar Lupagus show. It is that time of the week. Vikings got the Jets. So obviously we're going to bring on one of the best damn Jets channels around, Richie from Jets Media. Links will be down in the description. Hit him up. He's almost at 15,000 subs, so go give his ass a sub. Let's get him to that beautiful 15. Richie, appreciate you hopping on, man. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on, man. I'm super excited. Always a pleasure to hop on an opponent's channel right before we verse each other on Sunday. It's going to be a lot of fun on Sunday. So we got the Jets coming to Minnesota. Got a lot to talk about. And again, thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely, and definitely check out his channel. He's very energetic. He does not hold back, and it's entertaining. So hit him up. Also, he's part of the AFC Roundtable as well. We've had Dan on. We've had Colby from Patriots Global on as well. So he's part of that. So check them out. I got to say, though, I was just watching it was your last one or the one before. The Patriots guy, it wasn't Colby. It was a different one.
Master at work.
He likes to give you a little bit of shit. You guys seem to get after it a little bit. It's fun.
Oh, yeah. Well, the Patriots and Jets rivalry goes way back, and the Patriots have gotten the better of the Jets throughout my entire life. They've beaten us 14 straight times, and that rivalry, it stems on the AFC East Roundtable. We love to jab at each other, and that's really the only thing he's got is them beating up on the Jets, because right now, as we speak, they're in last place. We're a game ahead of them, one bar, so I'm feeling good. And I'm hoping it stays that way and the Patriots stay in last in the division, because that's never been the case as a Jets fan in my lifetime.
Hey, you're welcome for the victory, by the way, on Thanksgiving.
I was rooting for you guys so hard, by the way, on Thanksgiving. I was tweeting out #SKOL. I was the biggest Kirk Cousins fan. I was going crazy for the Minnesota Vikings. And thank you. And especially that Buffalo Bills game, too. You're beating up on our division. And let's hope that it changes a little bit this Sunday, obviously.
We'll see if it continues, if we can get the clean sweep. But let's talk Jets. So 7-4. I mean, honestly, I would have never expected the Jets to be 7-4. Nothing against you, but it's just the fact. I mean, what, they got like 6-7 losing seasons in a row, but they're showing up. And the Vikings, even at 9-2, are answering the same question week in and week out. Are they legit? Are they the real deal? So I got to ask you, Jets 7-4. Very, very good defense. Do you feel they are actually a legit squad at this point?
I do. And I think the biggest reason for that is how good this defense truly is under Robert Saleh. And we're seeing the second-year head coach really come into fruition, because last year, the Jets were the last-ranked defense in the NFL. And a lot of that had to do with the youth on that side of the ball. And a lot of Jets fans and NFL media people were questioning, you hire Robert Saleh, who was a defensive-minded coach, and he comes here and he coaches the last-ranked defense. Well, how about he changes that into a top 5 defense in his only second season? You got a rookie in Sauce Gardner, who is playing like a veteran in his prime as a rookie. Cannot wait to see him go up against Justin Jefferson, who I think is the best wide receiver in football. And I just feel like this Jets team, and obviously we're in the midst of a whole quarterback situation where we start Mike White for the first time. We bench Zach Wilson. And you see what Mike White did against the banged-up Chicago Bears defense. He completed the ball to 10 different receivers, and we have a lot of talent on the offense around the quarterback. So this Jets team is for real, and the best part about it is they're young, and this is the beginning of something special for the long run. This is not just a one-year wonder, in my opinion. We got a lot of draft picks, rookies, year-two players that are youthful and are under contract for a long time.
You mentioned Sauce. We're definitely going to be talking about him, but let's stay on this defense a little bit. I mean, give me the lay of the land. I mean, how good is this defense? What's your bread and butter?
The bread and butter is the front four. We can get to you with only 4 pass rushers. We run a 4-3 system, and I think we're top 5 in the league in sacks, and we don't blitz ever. We have 4 people that can get after you. We drop 7 back in coverage, and that's really the bread and butter. If you look at the 2019 San Francisco 49ers team that went to the Super Bowl, Robert Saleh was the defensive coordinator, and the biggest reason for that was because of that defense, that defensive line, the pass rush. And Quinnen Williams is playing like one of the best, if not the best, interior defensive tackles in the NFL. He has 8 sacks as an interior defensive lineman. We have an 8 to 10-man rotation on that defensive line, so we always have fresh legs. Not to mention the secondary that we got in Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed are playing like one of the best tandems in the league. And we just got a veteran in CJ Mosley at the linebacker who was a captain of that defense. So we got talent all over the place. The scheme's working. But the bread and butter, my man, it is getting to that quarterback. only on a 4-man pass rush and not relying on blitzing.
Well, I think I just saw where the Vikings interior offensive line is giving up the most pressures in the league. So Quinn Williams is scaring the living shit out of me. I'm not looking forward to that. He is going to get his on Sunday. But let's talk Sauce. So Sauce, currently ranked the #1 corner according to PFF, rookie, which is insane. I mean, when's the last time you had a guy come in to the Jets team like Sauce where, I mean, you guys got to be going crazy for him?
Darrelle Revis. And you know what the crazy thing about it is? He's having a better rookie season than Darrelle Revis did. And I think we all know how legendary Darrelle Revis was with his time with the New York Jets and his overall career. So the fact that he's coming in here as the 4th overall pick and playing like a veteran in the prime of his career as a rookie, it's just unbelievable. And what I always look at the Vikings game like I cannot wait for this because I love Justin Jefferson. I have so much respect for him. And I feel like Sauce Gardner had a lot of tests already. He shut down Jamar Chase. He had a good battle against Stephon Diggs. He went up against top-tier receivers, but the Justin Jefferson test is going to be his biggest one yet. And the best part about it is we don't just have Sauce Gardner. We have DJ Reed, who is also a very good cornerback who we can, switch around. I know you guys also have Adam Thielen, who is a very, reliable veteran wide receiver. So I cannot wait to see how the secondary matches up against the Vikings wide receivers.
Yeah, once Sauce put the everybody loves Sauce going into the draft. Everybody was a pipe dream that he was going to fall, whatever. But do you feel you should give the Texans maybe a gift or send them something for taking Derek Stingley?
Oh, definitely. I mean, Derek Stingley Jr., he's a good player, but Sauce Gardner is just a different animal. I mean, his physical traits match with his mentality and his swagger. It's just they don't build corners like that. And, if you want to build a corner in a laboratory, you build Sauce Gardner. I mean, he's so long. He can match up with any wide receiver physically. His recovery speed, his instincts, everything about it is just screams like a prototypical superstar corner, and I'm hoping he continues.
Then he puts on the cheese head after the Packers game.
Yeah, you guys love that.
He's pulling on Vikings heartstrings, so it's going to be tough not to like this guy, but I will definitely not like him on Sunday. But you're talking defense. Give me a hole. Give me a player, position, something on the defensive side of the ball where you think the Vikings could possibly take advantage.
We are definitely skeptical across the middle of the field in zone coverage with our linebackers. Our linebackers are very fast. They're really good at tackling. They're good at in run defense. But when it comes to finding the soft spot in the zone, we're not as quick on that in coverage wise. CJ Mosley's up there in age. We got Quan Alexander, who's really good, and Quincy Williams. But those guys are really good at against the run. But when it comes to throwing the ball over the middle, that's where you're going to get your bread and butter. Kirk Cousins, if I'm a Vikings fan, you want him to get rid of the ball fast because the pass rusher is going to get after him and get rid of it quickly over the middle of the field. Stay away from the perimeter because that's where Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed live. So I feel like Vikings, their game plan is going to be getting rid of the ball fast, underneath stuff over the middle of the field.
What's your overall perception on the Vikings? A lot of people we talk to feel bad for us and never won a Super Bowl, whatever. I mean, what's your overall perception with the Jets? We got a little bit of history. Antoine Winfield was going to go to the Jets. He ended up going to the Vikings. Anthony Barr playing with you guys came back. Kirk Cousins going back to the Vikings. I mean, what's your take on the Vikings? And you can rip us apart.
I mean, historically speaking, I've always had no issues with the Vikings. But if you want to talk about this season, I'm always like defending the Vikings, telling people don't sleep on them. Like, I feel like you guys are one of the most underrated teams in the league because your record is so great and no one talks about the Vikings as a team that we should be looking at as a potential Super Bowl favorite or a potential team to come out of the NFC. And I'm always like, when you guys were going up against the Buffalo Bills, for example, on the AFC's roundtable, that was after the Jets beat the Bills, and that was when Josh Allen's a little questionable, right? I said on the roundtable, we were predicting that game. I'm like, guys, the Vikings are winning that game whether Josh Allen plays or not. And everyone's like, oh, shut up, Richie. You're just saying that because you hate the Bills. I'm like, no, like you guys are sleeping on the Vikings, bro. Like Kirk Cousins, he stands tall in that pocket. He lets it rip. Justin Jefferson is a superstar. Don't sleep on Dalvin Cook. They got some pieces on that defense. So I think the Vikings, historically, I'm pretty sure the Jets have a little edge over the Vikings in terms of the head-to-head matchups. But this season, I'm always telling people don't sleep on the Vikings. They're a team to watch out for in the NFC.
I remember Dan being pretty confident when we were playing those guys, talking to him. But is what it is. So let's talk about the obvious one. We got to talk Zach Wilson. I mean, you're watching anything you throw on NFL Network, whatever it is, they're talking, is Zach Wilson done? Is he completely done with the Jets? And your coach comes out and says, they're just going to, when he's ready, he'll get back in. Are you buying that? Is he actually done if you had to bet on it? with
You
the
know,
Jets.
the only way Zach Wilson plays again this season is one of two things. Mike White gets injured or Mike White stinks it up. This is Mike White's job to lose right now. They're giving him an opportunity, and we know what happened last year. Mike White goes in there for an injured Zach Wilson, and all of a sudden his jersey's in the Hall of Fame. Why? Because the first quarterback in NFL history to put up 400 yards and 3 touchdowns in his first career start. And then his first start this season. Yes, it is going up against the Chicago Bears defense that is not looking good and they're injured all over the place, but he literally dissects that defense, and it's the best quarterback performance we've seen from the New York Jets since his own performance last year. And Jets fans, we look at this offense and we see the plethora of talent around the quarterback. We got Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore. We got Tyler Conklin from the Vikings, who I really absolutely love. We got, Michael Carter. We have a lot of playmakers on offense that we feel like we're wasting. And I feel like Robert Saleh made a good decision because Zach Wilson, he has the yips. It's all in his head. He's not really, he's not doing the easy stuff correctly. And that's really going to hurt this team. If you cannot make a simple screen pass, if you cannot make a simple read, this team is not going to be able to succeed. And frankly, the Jets are ready to go right now. We're ready to win. And that's not been the case for a long time. So Robert Saleh sees that there is a chance for this Jets football team to make the playoffs for the first time since 2010. He's going to ride the hot hand with Mike White. And the only way Zach Wilson plays this season is, like I said, to start it off if Mike gets hurt or he starts playing to the point where we can't even win with him, which I kind of don't see happening.
All right. Once again, we're joined by Richie from Jets Media. Go give him a sub. Links will be down in the description. Get him up to 15K. So Mike White, you're right. He lit it up. I would much rather be going against Wilson if it was up to me. I mean, there's nothing worse than going against a guy that's just hungry, wants to prove himself. So that scares me a little bit. But I mean, realistically, is there any future where he could actually be the future of the Jets? Or are you guys just so excited to see somebody different? You're just jumping on the bandwagon.
Yeah, listen, I've been waiting for a franchise quarterback my entire life. And I prematurely crowned Sam Darnold as the franchise quarterback when we drafted him, and I learned from my mistake. So I never crowned Zach Wilson that until he proves it. Hasn't proved it yet. And now Mike White's coming out there, and it's just like a breath of fresh air from Jets fans, just seeing a quarterback like Mike White that just does the simple things, that has proper footwork, that has the good, proper mechanics, that can read a defense, that can spread the ball around to the to his playmakers. It's like, wait, we do have a lot of talent on this offense that's been going to waste with Zach Wilson. It kind of makes sense why Elijah Moore requested a trade early on. It wasn't because of the Jets or anything. It's because of Zach Wilson. So I love Mike White. He has a bubbly personality that it feels like the team really wants to play for him. And I'm not going to crown him as the franchise quarterback because we have to see more consistency from him, and we only see one game from him. But not going to lie, Mike White kind of reminds me a little bit of Kirk Cousins, just a quarterback that can stand tall in the pocket, let it rip, and, he's not going to beat you with his legs. He's not an athletic freak. He can make the proper throws, and Mike White has a long way to go before you can say he is Kirk Cousins, because Kirk Cousins is a veteran and done it consistently throughout his entire career. But I feel like Mike White has an opportunity here to lead this Jets team to the playoffs, and if he does that, then we're going to have a really interesting conversation as a Jets fan base in the offseason.
Nice. You're talking a lot of offense. I mean, you got the weapons. You mentioned them. You have weapons on offense, and now clearly you got a guy that's going to try to get them the ball. Defensively for the Vikings, Ed Donatel likes to play prevent defense from the first quarter all the way to the end of the game. He likes to give opposing wide receivers about 40 yards of fluff to do whatever they want. So offensively, I mean, I know it's a small sampling last week with White, but what can we expect? Are you dinking and dunking? Are you stretching the field a little bit, everything? You're pounding the ball? What should we expect on Sunday?
Yeah, so Michael Carter right now is banged up with an ankle injury. We're unsure if he's going to be playing. He's our number one running back, and we had our undrafted free agent running back make his NFL debut on Sunday against the Bears, and he lit it up. I mean, he had over 100 yards in his debut. So the running back room is going to be interesting to see what happens. The bread and butter of this offense is running the ball and setting up the play action. But when Mike White went out there, all of a sudden we see him throwing the ball down the field, and we have a wide receiver in Garrett Wilson, who is a rookie, who is just screaming star potential all over him. He's coming off a 2-touchdown performance. We also have Elijah Moore on the outside. We also have a veteran in Corey Davis. We got Tyler Conklin, who you guys know very well, CJ Uzama. So there's a lot of talent on this offense. And when it comes to the scheme, Mike White just really takes what the defense gives him. I mean, if you look at the San Francisco 49ers with Jimmy Garoppolo and that offense, it's basically the same situation. Jimmy G is not that quarterback that's going to light you up with his legs or do anything crazy. He's a stable veteran that takes what the defense gives him, and that's exactly what Mike White's doing. He drops back to pass. He looks at his number one read. Okay, it's not there. Number two, okay, we're going to go underneath. Mike White likes to dink and dunk a lot, but he's not afraid to stretch the ball down the field if it is open, and I feel like that's my favorite thing about Mike White. He really understands how to scan a defense. And it's like Vikings fans are probably hearing me, break down the easy stuff of quarterbacks because they don't understand that we've been watching Zach Wilson really struggle with the easy fundamental quarterbacking. So that's why to us as Jets fans, it's a breath of fresh air to see Mike White do that. And we're hopeful that he can be consistent.
Well, he could possibly be going against our fifth cornerback in Duke Shelley, which is not fantastic news for Vikings, but yeah, he'll have a little bit of fun. You guys will put up some yards, last in the league, Vikings against the pass. So you guys will get yours in the air. And you've mentioned him already a couple times. Got to talk about him. We love this guy. Hated to see him go. Tyler Conkadon Conklin. The dude was just a fan favorite, and we knew wherever he went, he was going to rip it up. But I mean, how are you feeling with Conklin? Is he everything you hoped for? Is he overachieving, underachieving?
He's amazing. I mean, the cool thing about our tight end room is we got Conklin and we got CJ Uzomah in the same free agency class. And CJ Uzomah came from the Bengals who went to the Super Bowl. And we're running these two tight end sets. And those two guys are so perfect for this team because they are both willing blockers. Tyler Conklin is that great route runner that can get open, has really reliable hands. And Conklin has a couple games this year where he's absolutely went off. And when we signed Conklin, all off season, I was like, guys, we got our tight end number one. He's going to be lighting it up. I love them in Minnesota. Like, Vikings fans are so upset to see him leave. And it's cool because it's not like we're relying on Conklin to be the guy since we also have CJ Uzomah. And we do run a lot of two tight end sets. So we have those two guys who are both willing blockers. You look at the film against the Bears, there's so many times where both Conklin and Uzomah are simply just blocking on a play, and they just body their guys and they look at each other, they chest pump. They're like little kids out there having fun. They're like enjoying the game, and the chemistry's through the roof. And I cannot speak enough about how awesome Tyler Conklin is. He's also very active on social media with the fans, and he's just a great, humble dude. And I'm really excited that he's a Jet for the next couple seasons.
Yeah, he's the best. I hope he lights it up with you for a couple seasons and then comes back for 1 year in his twilight with the Vikings, just finish it off, because you're right. He's a tough guy. We're
sorry we had to give you Chris Herndon.
Yeah, I really appreciate Chris Herndon. But you also, I saw you have Chaz Surratt on your practice squad.
Yes,
you're welcome. You're welcome for that.
We do. We actually activated him for the first time last week for special teams.
Wow, that is shocking. Yeah,
he hasn't done anything.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That was really rude of you to bring that up. Once again, we got Richie, Jets Media. Not only that, but also check out their AFC Roundtable. I believe you guys going live tonight?
Yeah, the AFC East Roundtable, we go live every single Wednesday night. Me, Bills, Patriots, Dolphins, we all go at it. Obviously, the division's very good, so we go. It gets pretty frisky every Wednesday night, 7:30 Eastern time.
Yeah, it was pretty entertaining, that Patriots guy. I look forward to watching that one now that the Patriots have. You guys, he's in last place now, right? He's in cellar. Yeah, so have fun with that one.
Cellar.
Crap.
I'll let him know for sure.
So you kind of already alluded to this, but Jets, they seem like they're on the uptick. Everything, I mean, future-wise, next 2-3 years, you got some offensive playmakers. You got your defense is just lighting it up. Confidence high in New York?
Confidence is through the roof, man. We're exceeding expectations. All we wanted heading into the season, like talking August expectations, was competitive games in December. Guess what? First game in December is this Sunday, and it means something. We are in the playoffs currently. It's a meaningful game, and no one would have thought that we would be in this situation because of the schedule. And you look at the division, we got the Bills and the Dolphins only one game ahead of us, and Jets fans are like, wait a second. If we actually start, winning some games, like win out or, go on a winning streak, we have a chance to win this division because we already beat the Dolphins. We already beat the Bills. We versed them again, both of them. So if we can upset the Vikings, then there's a really big conversation to have that we can absolutely shock the world. But we're going to go week by week. We know that we beat up on a Bears team that is not good without Justin Fields, so we don't want to get too high. We got a really big opponent against you guys, and the vibes are high right now, man, because where the Jets have came from, it's been a long time since we've been into the playoffs, the longest drought in the league since 2010. And if there's any Jets fan that's upset right now about this quarterback controversy, they shouldn't be, because we're back. We're 7-4. We're in the playoff hunt in December, and vibes are high, man. This is a great time to be a Jets fan.
Boom. And you guys are pretty good on the road.
Oh yeah, we have one loss on the road. We were 4-0 until we put up a stinker in in Foxborough, where Zach Wilson had to get benched. So
yeah, so Jets coming to town. Vikings fans, I wouldn't say we're overly confident. It's going to be a very good game. However it shakes out, it will definitely be close. You will see Greg Joseph miss an extra point, and you'll put up a ton of yards in the air. But the Vikings have proven that they can definitely hang, and we'll make it close. So not so much a score prediction, but how do you see this shaking out on Sunday?
I think this is going to be a game that goes down to the last minute. I think it's either going to come down to a game-winning field goal, game-winning touchdown drive, or a game-winning, defensive possession. You look at this Vikings team, and the two games that I really watched in full with the Vikings was against the Bills and the Patriots for obvious reasons. Outside of that, it's just been highlights and like stuff on Red Zone and stuff. But this Minnesota Vikings team, they're so pesky and they just find ways to win. And that's what makes good organizations really good. And I feel like this Jets team have to be on their A game. The Jets are the best team in the NFL in the fourth quarter in terms of point differential. They have a really large margin. They're like plus 50 something in the fourth quarter. So I feel like that's where they really turn up another notch. And I'm hoping that's going to be the X factor in this one. But listen, I really like the matchup with the Jets going up against the Vikings just because of our defense. And the one guy I'm more afraid of on the Vikings outside of Justin Jefferson is Dalvin Cook, because if we allow Dalvin Cook to run all over us, we're going to be doomed. And the Jets defense, as good as it is, they've been struggling with open field tackling. And I know Dalvin Cook is a monster of, breaking free on tackles, making people miss in the open field. So I'm expecting it to be a close battle. And whoever wins, it's going to be like a 3 to 4 point margin, in my opinion.
Absolutely. That is absolutely how it's going to shake out. That's why Vikings fans drink so much. That's why I'll be after the bag by the time that one's over. But Richie was fantastic. Remember, everybody hit up those links down in the description. Give him a sub. Go over, give him some crap in the comments. But be nice though, because if he was putting hashtag Skol out, that's a big move. So appreciate you hopping on, man. Good luck on Sunday.
Thanks for having me on, my man. Good luck on Sunday, and we'll see how it all pans out, my man.
All right, thanks.
Peace out.